Welcome to West USA Weekly, the podcast, your go-to source for everything real estate in Phoenix, Arizona. We're breaking down market trends, local insights, and the moves that matter most to Valley agents. Interviews, tips, and the latest from one of Arizona's top brokerages, all in one place. Let's dive in.
Good morning, West USA. Welcome to another edition of our Monday morning podcast. This is the Postmasters podcast. Great round of golf yesterday. That was a lot of fun. All right, they just make it look so easy.
Oh, they do.
They do.
He was really consistent.
Incredible. Saturday you had a rough day, but
Well, that's why he dropped.
yeah.
All right, well, anyways, Todd's here to give us a look at the numbers. We got our Mortgage Minute update by the Frederick team. I'm going to share 3 tips to setting your buyer's expectations, just things that I'm experiencing and going through and conversations I've just got to have with my buyers. And, of course, we got Carlos Cicero. He's in the house, and he's going to share some secrets to success. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, you can email us at podcast@westusa.com. All right, let's jump into some announcements. 22 ways to market yourself without spending a dime. That's going on this Thursday, April 16th from 10 to 11 at the Goodyear office. All right, Todd's got a free CE class, 3 hours of general CE
Everybody's
credit, water, deed fraud, and Firewise. Like as always, all of our events and classes can be found on the calendar, the West USA calendar. Just go to your dashboard, click on calendar. Or if you're not with West USA and you would like to attend one of our classes, just go to westusacalendar.com. All right, 3 hours of fair housing, homes for all. All right, that's going on tomorrow, April 14th from 9 to 12. This is going to be at the Mesa office. All right, FHA and VA loans, what you need to know, 3 hours of legal issues, in-person class. That's going on tomorrow between 1 and 4. That'll be taking place at the Chandler office. All right, the power of credit and maximizing your credit score. That is tomorrow's going to be a busy day. Yeah. Apparently, no one's going to be selling real estate tomorrow. So tomorrow between 10 to 1 p.m., that is going on up here at the North Phoenix office. Pick up 3 hours of legal issues. All right, what else we got? Understanding a title report and knowing what to look out for. That is going on tomorrow. Tomorrow. Man.
Yeah.
Man, all right, tomorrow between 10 and 11 at the Chandler office. And Realtor Fingerprint event. I did it, and Carlos is in the house right now, so I just wanted to do a huge shout out and say thank you for being here at the North Phoenix office. I figured out how to upload it to the Department of Real Estate website, and it got approved.
If Mike was able to figure it out, guys, come on.
Do not call your office manager. I figured it out all on my own. But that's coming up this Friday from 9 to noon. Reservations are required. That's going to be up at the Scottsdale office. And Carlos, we lied. So we moved this flyer, but Carlos Cicero's got his big charity golf tournament coming up. It's going to be at June 30th at Lone Mountain.
20th.
So 20th, that too. Why don't we just do both days? Those aren't going to help. So that's January 20th, a great event. Whenever I can go, I like to actually just buy a table and bring some of my clients with me. It's just a great event. So you can just reach out to Carlos if you are interested in this. Benefits the Be Kind Foundation. All right, Todd, take it away. A lot of announcements today.
There were. Oh, my goodness.
They're all for Tuesday.
I'm not going there. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going over the Greater Phoenix Metro market statistics for the week ending April 13th. Let's see what we got. 74 days closed on market this past week, a 4.3-month, 6-month supply. 22.92% absorption rate. Our average list price this past week, $784,508. Average sale price this past week, $630,394. And our list price to sale price retention this past week at 97.32. Active inventory didn't take quite as large a jump as we would have liked to have seen, but it was up 26,870, pending at 4,923, and closed units month to date for the month of April, 2,463. New listings taken this past week, that was good at 2,385. You know, we like to see it over 2,000. Days on market for active is currently 92 days and 81 for closed. Lower left-hand side, we have our price ranges. Notice on the right-hand side of that box, nothing has declined. Everything is increased. every single category in the our inventory. 0 to 600,000 represents 65.89% of the entire MLS. 600 to 1 million at 19.29, and $1 million and up at 14.81. So we have our spreadsheet, and I will take a moment at this time to tell you that later today you will have the month-end March market statistics up on the dashboard, so check that out. New listings taken with 2385, 2299 the week before, so we're up. But here's some of the stories. Look at that salmon-colored column, 2225 same week. So 2,500 last year, we were a little bit short. Inventory is sitting right about the same. So we're sitting at 26,870, same as last year, that is. 631 in the coming soon category, 19,951 in the single-family non-distressed, 3,001 new home construction, and non-distressed at 26,404 overall. Taking a look at pending, we're at 4923. We're at 4921 last week. That's good. That's consistent. We're kind of liking that. 4,696 last year. So easy to say. We've got easily 250 people in escrow more this year than we had last year. And if you look at the goldenrod to the right of that one, you'll see that it was 3,703 2 years ago. So, when we're thinking about how depressed we are because we're not getting our numbers, or we're not finding buyers, or Chicken Little's falling, the sky, interest rates went up, all these different things, you have to take into consideration what the statistics say. So we need to unplug our head out of the sand. And take a look. The market is back. It's strong. You just need to get up and go find those buyers. Closed inventory at 2463 month to date. We're at 2511 same period last year. Taking a look at the month's supply, 4.36. That's up from 3.44. So it's more of that neutral market right now. To the victor goes the spoils. Whoever really does well negotiates well is the person who's going to the side of the transaction, the principal that's going to benefit. Average median days on market, I know that doesn't make sense. So median days on market, median sales prices at 467.50. Again, the market did jump up for what was being sold during the week before, but it came back down, I guess you could say. In other words, the average prices this past week were lower than they were the week before. 74 is our days on market as we see, so it's competing. It's heating up. We were at 81, now we're at 74. We were at 83 last year, so we're a little bit ahead excitement-wise or volume-wise than we were last year. But the big thing here, and you're going to see this in the month-end report, which is, please take a look at that, because we're going to go over a few things and really how the market has changed and how you can take advantage of the market. List price is still price retention at 97.32. It's very, very similar to the prior price. We were at 97.96 same time last year, which was basically saying the seller was giving up about 0.75% less than they are today. But again, every market's a little bit different. It has its nuances. But please go away from today realizing that the market is pretty strong. You need to get out there.
It's busy.
It's busy. It's very busy.
All right, appreciate it as always, Todd. And speaking of busy, hey, Justin, how you doing?
Good, guys.
How are rates these days?
Oh,
Wow,
we got
4%?
Listen, I wouldn't go that far. But we had a good week last week. So you can see, rates did come down a little bit last week. That was a big deal. We needed to see that. Let's hope things in the Middle East keep leveling out and going down a little bit over there, activity. So yeah, we saw rates get better last week, which is good news, and we also saw activity pick up. All right, today what we're going to be talking about is the importance of why we as lenders like for applications to be submitted online. A lot of times agents ask us, are you just being lazy? You don't want to do it over the phone? No, there's actually a lot of technology
Nick's
out there.
go-to answer is yes. He's just being lazy.
Yeah. It feels like we're being lazy when we ask them to do the application online, but there's a lot of technology that's involved that can help us get the pre-qualification out very fast. We can also get approvals through this technology within minutes with all the new AI out there. But different mortgage companies have different platforms to streamline the mortgage process for the borrowers and loan officers. This keeps everyone, borrower, LO, realtor, connected in one place. And so, for example, over here to the right, we have our Fairway Now app. And can be co-branded with our agents and put your logo up there, West USA, at the top rather than the fairway. But helps you stay front and center with your client because they'll have access to this. They can get mortgage payments through here. You'll see loan updates. These apps are usually co-branded with the realtor's information. Buyers see both the loan officer and their agent through the process. Typically, these apps through mortgage companies, you'll be able to GPS to the realtor's office along with our offices. Your name stays attached to the experience. This allows you to become more involved in the part of the buyer's home journey. As the agent, you typically get loan status updates through here, text alerts or email alerts. Hey, application's been submitted, documents are being processed, things of that nature. So let's move on here. So one of the most important things is the verified borrower. So you can get within our application and a lot of other mortgage companies' applications, when they're doing this, they can enter in their payroll management company's information. So let's just say it's ADP. It will pull what's called a VOIE, and that stands for Verification of Income and Employment. It will also give us access to W-2s, pay stubs, so they're not having to send it over. They're not having to dig through their payroll, pull it out as a PDF, send it in through our app, or send it over in an email, worrying about the Social Security number being on there and all that stuff. It instantly comes over to us, and it works for 92% of clients, depending on who their payroll management company is. Assets and bank balances. So we'll get a verification of assets, a VOA. That basically gives us a full 2 months bank statements. So on a file, if you do it online, I can get pay stubs, W-2s. I can get the verification of employment showing when the borrower started at that employer, and then I can get bank statements. It's knocking out pretty much everything that I need right there. So that's a big reason why we do that. So funds to close are validated early. I don't have to ask for anything. Keep in mind, I can update these too throughout the process. So if it takes a year to get under contract, I can have them just revalidate those credentials, and I can get those pay stubs, new W-2 if needed, and new bank statements. Fewer underwriting surprises. Income, assets, deposits are already reviewed up front. Reduced last-minute documentation issues. Real-time loan visibility. You can track the loan progress through the milestones that are sent out through a lot of these applications through the technology. No more chasing updates from the lender. Yeah, I mean, there is lenders out there that are going to update you all the time. We do that, but there are some lenders that don't. Rely on the lender's technology that will help you. Streamlined communication, borrower, realtor, and LO all connect in one place. Faster responses and fewer missed details, like misspelled names. A lot of times people will fat finger a social security number or date of birth. We got to get a new credit report with that, and sometimes that can change. Early documentation collected, it's done right. Secured uploads, accounting, the linking, organize complete files from the start. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is this technology is there for a reason, and it's helping us move quicker.
Wow.
Whoa. But we've had typically in the spring is where we get a lot of buyers that are coming in that we need a fast pre-qualification for. We have people from out of state coming here to buy second homes, and this technology can help us get there much quicker.
So then let me ask you this. So obviously we're relying on this, and this is what we're having our clients do. So how do we explain, or what do we say to our clients that we're about to introduce them to you and your team and prepare them for the process?
I would say to them that having a discussion with the lender first, introductions, talk about what their experiences are, that is necessary. I feel like having those conversations is necessary. But if you guys can help clients understand we're not trying to steal your information by logging into these things. We're trying to make the process more streamlined and efficient. Just kind of set that expectation to them. I think that's a big deal. And at the end of the day, there's always these individuals, these clients that want to meet in person. They want to do everything over that's okay. Yeah. Just understand that the timelines are going to be a little different. If you want things to be sped up, these are wonderful, but it's not for everybody. That's not everybody's cup of tea. And we understand that. We're not trying to push everybody here. We're just trying to make people understand that this technology is awesome and it really helps the process move along.
What
quickly.
agent doesn't want to know that they've got a client that's pre-approved as quickly as possible if they're going to put them in the car and take them out, or spend their time, not necessarily waste it, but it would be wasted time if they could have found that out and they chose not to use this resource.
Sure. So I'm just trying to get that information out there. So I know we're doing a little something different here, cool. But I want them to understand that this is a lot of this stuff is very new. And I think that it needs to be known that there's a reason for it.
So one more question, two parts. Typically, if I'm having a conversation with my buyer, if they're a traditional W-2 employee, about how long should they anticipate this taking them? And then if they're a business owner or 1099, how long should they anticipate?
So this isn't more for a business owner kind of application, business owner, we're going to have to get those tax returns, maybe K-1s, business tax returns, personal tax returns. So it's still nice to do it online just so they have access to the portal to upload documents securely. Business owner, I would say 24 hours as long as they're uploading their documents immediately. If we get somebody that's a W-2, traditional W-2 employee that goes through all these steps, it will take them about 15 minutes to fill out the application. It's a little bit longer than the past, probably about 5 minutes longer. But we can have a fully approved loan. And literally this can happen. If they go through all that stuff, we can have a fully approved loan in 30 minutes, meaning underwritten fully approved loan in about 30 minutes. That's great. We have somebody available immediately after they submit that application.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing you said really quickly is you talked about the secure portal, and I think that's a big deal. And I know Mike's going to talk about setting expectations with buyers, but when we're having conversations with our clients, security should be one of the first things that we're talking about. It's paramount right now. We're still seeing title issues and people hacking into email. Yeah. And that's what's happening is they're getting into email and they're just sitting and waiting to attack. If they're using secure portals and upload, yes. If you're not used to it, it's a little bit more time, but sending documents via email is one of the most unsecure things that you can do. Correct. Using secure portals to upload. And this comes from you as the agent setting an expectation with the buyer. This is what I'm going to get you on because it's more secure. Even if it's a little more time, at the end of the day, it's a little more time up front for a lot more benefit down the road.
Well, it might be a little longer to fill out the online versus the other, but it's going to be significantly less time when ADP and everybody else electronically shares that information.
Perfect point. And I appreciate you guys' support with this because it is a big deal to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Justin. Yeah. Good stuff as always. All right, we're going to jump into the 3-pack. We are going to talk about, I guess, Nick, we're going to continue the conversation of setting buyer expectations ahead of time. And this is just really just something that's been on my mind because of a lot of recent transactions that I have where sometimes I've set the proper expectations. Sometimes I've just kind of let it get away from me, and then I find myself in a jam. So, and these are part of the initial conversations. And what I mean by initial, I don't necessarily need to have these conversations before we go look at homes, but I can just get people in the car looking at homes. That's half the battle. Right. But when we're getting ready to write an offer, we do need to set some buyer expectations. You are not buying a new build. This is not a brand new home. This is a home that, new builds are pretty much perfect.
So you are showing them new builds.
I'm just saying, so if we're hitting the resale market, they need to understand walking into this that somebody has lived in this home. And maybe they lived in a home for 2 years. Maybe they lived in the home for 20 years. This is not a new build. So you have to understand you are not getting delivered a perfect perfect home with that new car smell. This home again has a lot of experience. So, understand a resale home isn't perfect and it's going to come with wear and tear. So you've got to pick and choose. And this is where you're managing the expectations. You got to pick and choose, what are things that are important to you and not important to you. I can't go after every single door lock and every single faucet that's not shiny and clean and bright and whatever the case is, like I can if it's a new build. Right. It's a home that you just need to understand, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're not buying a house that is perfect.
Lynn and I just went through purchasing another rental, and in that process, Anthony, his company, ACP Property Inspections, they did the inspection for us, and they came through with an exceptionally detailed report. But it didn't have a lot of things that were wrong with it. It just had a lot of things, and so I think that's kind of the setting up the buyer on this. Listen, the home inspection report probably is going to come back, and it might have 50 things on it, or all right, let's be realistic. It might have 20 things on it that just don't make it a brand new home, and the home inspector's pulling that information out. And so if we don't prepare the buyer for that home inspection report, because to your last point there, pick and choose what's important. When you're going in for a negotiation, what are the things that realistically you could do, or that realistically is not going to change the quiet enjoyment of the home, but it's maybe structurally or mechanically not working properly? Pick the things that are important to you.
Yeah, Nick, I recently had a buyer. They're like, they looked at the inspection report and go, I want everything taken care of.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do anything
Correct.
to this home. Then we need to go look at new builds.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
so I have a few things here. I mean, we're seeing more pendings in the marketplace. We've seen more listings come available the last few months. So we're seeing more business. And this is again, it's never been as important as it is now to get your expectations set for your clients across the board. And it's something that our industry could always do better at. But when you're trying to set this expectation, so my question to you, Mikey, is we've got 35-year-olds that have never purchased a home in their life, and they've got their pre-qual and they're really excited. And so they don't, let's just say the current generation of 35-year-olds haven't been taught how to fix things. They use YouTube and they use ChatGPT, so they're not comfortable fixing things in a home. So they go through a couple of residential resales that are 8 to 10, 15 years old, and they get that home inspection list back. They don't know what's important to them. Mm-hmm. They're not sure what that looks like. So you as the agent need to kind of walk them through that. But at what point in your conversation is, let's go look at a brand new home, and then let's compare what the brand new home is going to cost and is going to provide you versus what that residential resale is. How long in that process do you make that decision to go show them a new build versus residential resale?
Depending on area and price point, I try to go, let's just take a look at new builds first.
Yeah.
Let's just start with that. Because as we always maintain on the show, new builds kind of sell themselves. Yep. And then if they get, and especially with interest rates and buy downs and concessions and things like that. But then if that doesn't work, they know this is a new build. Now we're walking into a resale.
You set the baseline, you set the foundation. Now they know what to expect. I also know the cost of the new build. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important, though, just to make sure that it's that pre-conversation, but when you're having the buyer request the home inspector, that you have the conversation about what could show 100%. Up on that document.
But then explaining to them what is important based on this is going to cost a lot, this is going to be a difficult fix. Yeah. They don't know the answer to those questions.
All right, 20-plus year homes are going to come with some big issues. Okay,
check.
Just this is a conversation that I'm going to have
at 20.
Yeah. So expect the roof to be called out on the inspection. Expect the AC units to be called out on the inspection. Maybe they're not called out. Maybe they're in great shape. Maybe they have been replaced within the last 10 years. But Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you just need to understand this home was built in 2003. We just need to understand walking in that we can potentially expect these to be issues. So don't be shocked. Don't be like, oh my God, the roof is falling apart. Well, I told you that the roof might be falling apart, and we can always negotiate. So don't be surprised, but also don't be surprised if the seller doesn't want to pay for it all. I let them know we are going to try to get the seller to pay for everything, But not all sellers have the equity position to do it and the financial means to do it. They may need X amount of dollars from the sale of their home to be able to achieve whatever their next real estate goal is. So I like to tell them, so listen, let's just say the roof is shot. And we got a bid for $20,000. Let's just say we could meet in the middle. I'm trying to get the seller to pay for the whole thing. But what if there's a way that we can meet in the middle? Seller pays for half, you pay for half. You are now getting a brand new roof for $10,000, or a new HVAC system for $5,000. Consider that a huge win rather than, oh, well, if the seller's not going to take care of all of it, I'm just going to walk away.
You know, these are really good points, but the 20-year thing is when everything falls apart. Look at life expectancy of a roof, 15 to 25 years. Look, depending upon the type of roof and the underlayment. You know, look at the HVAC systems, typically 15 to 20 years. I mean, everything seems to have. So if you're looking at a 20-year-old, to Mike's point, you know, many times some of these things have already been repaired. In the one that I was just telling you about with my wife and I going out and looking at the home, everything had just been repaired. The roof had been repaired 2 years ago. The HV system was repaired last year.
That's a huge win.
The hot water heater, which was gas, which is the most expensive ones, that was recently replaced. So I looked at it and said, you know what, this is just in those factors, and then we were able to negotiate to get the seller to pay off the solar lease.
But then on the flip side, Nick, we had a buyer. We had two roof inspections because the seller didn't like the first one that came in at 21 grand. The second one came in at 18 grand, and the seller was willing to contribute $850. Well, there comes a time to walk.
Yeah, don't open up your shirt and let your heart fall out.
The real estate industry, along with every other industry, they do what's called the danger report every year. I don't remember who puts it out. I think it's not Swamp Hole, but it's a company like that does the danger report. And every single year, this report ranks from one as the highest danger for the industry to the lowest. And every year, this report comes out, and the number one biggest danger to real estate are realtors, because we're not setting the expectation. We're not having the conversations with our clients. We're not making sure that we're working together in a collaborative way with the cross-sell agent to get the home sold and make sure everyone's hitting their expectations and everybody wins. And it's just not happening. And when you take a listing, because there's a lot of listings right now, and you're not having that conversation with the seller about this house is 20 years old, you're going to have buyers coming in. You're not setting your seller up to have a good experience. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to get mad, and they're going to be upset with you because they're not sure why their house isn't selling, but the guy down the street did, because they did what Todd's realtor did. They updated and did everything to the house, so when they came in to offer, they're going to offer higher and they're going to sell faster.
All right, maybe next week we'll do setting your seller expectations ahead of time.
That's a good idea.
All right, and the third thing is I have to explain to my buyers, this is the seller's home. Okay, they've raised their kids in this home. They've got a lot of years, there's a lot of emotional attachment to this home. So when you are going through the inspection report and you're putting together the bins or the list of items, you've got to find the right way to call their baby ugly. And it goes back to point number one, is you're not buying a new build. So what are the things that are important? If you throw out a list of 50 things it's the if you send me a Binzer and you want me to replace the anti-siphon valves, I'm canceling the deal right off the bat. Oh, the stove is not attached to the back of the wall, or there's no high loop underneath the sink, and stuff like that. The longer that list, the more ugly you're calling that baby. And it goes back to point number one, pick and choose what's most important to you.
And sometimes in a negotiation phase, you add an item or two that you don't even care about having fixed if you're trying to come in at a price point. And then that way the consumer says, well, I'll take the price, but only if you don't do it these. So there's a lot of strategies behind all of these things. So, and Mike, when you deal with investors, strategy is more important in many instances than even dealing with someone who's going to live in the property itself. But again, this is also the point when you share with people that there's no warranty on a structural item unless the house is under 6 years old. But for the most part, this is what a home warranty is for. So if you order a home warranty, it's kind of saying, for instance, if any of these major mechanical things go wrong, at least in the first year, then these things will be covered with a blank whatever they call it, deductible. from that perspective. But again, so I think that the biggest issue is having these kinds of conversations while you're walking through homes potentially. Mike said it right in the very beginning. My number one objective is to get them to go out and walk through homes. And so when you're doing that, this is when you're taking the time to have these conversations. You don't have to sit them down and totally stop the process to go through these. They're not listening. They don't care. They want to go see some homes.
Yeah, then you get your list and you see how excited and attached they are to the house. And again, if the longer the list, the less of a chance that they're going to get that house. Especially right now, we're starting to see offers come in on homes that are multiple offer deals. Yeah, there's a lot of inventory, but the ones that are sticking out, they're selling faster and they're getting more offers.
9% was the fallout rate last month.
Yeah.
In the month of March.
crazy.
That was one of the things I was kind of holding back.
That's pretty low.
Because that's super,
super
low.
low.
20 is normal.
Yeah.
And what, 2 months ago we were at like 35?
Yeah, everybody hesitated. Now they're going.
Yep.
All righty. Well, let's move on.
Nice photo, Carlos.
Carlos,
thank
look
you.
at that. Woo, you are a handsome man.
It used to be my prom picture there before. But, I was a lot younger and dark hair, right?
Oh, that's your Sun City
CEO material right
prom
there.
picture.
Exactly. No, but thank you guys for the invite. It's always a pleasure to be here. You guys do such a wonderful job every time, every Monday. I mean, I'm 80-90% of the time on the webinar, and you guys, I can't believe you guys do it every week in and week out and day in.
Mike's
and
pretty
day out,
awesome when he comes
year
up
by
with a
year and
three-pack.
everything. So I love the way you
Well,
guys handle this.
we appreciate it, and we always enjoy when you're on because you obviously got a very successful team. You provide a lot of great mentoring and support for your team. And going back to this picture, you obviously have some wisdom to impart.
Dude, I wouldn't put it that way, but CEO quality right there. That's awesome.
All right, so let's jump into the 5 pillars of success. We're going to talk about skills, grit, purpose, AI, and digital media. So I guess we're going to start with skills first, and I'm going to hand this over to you. You're just going to press the down arrow button every time you want to change a slide.
Oh, down arrow? Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Perfect.
Yep.
No, when Mike called me a few months back, we had a hard time getting in here, but he asked me to put something together, and I think being that the market is changing so much and so rapidly with AI, with technology, and even Justin was just talking about how quickly they can respond to a lender, things like that, just by using technology and everything. So anybody that is not doing a lot of focus on technology and AI, I think it's going to be hard for them to keep moving and be successful because it's here, guys. It's here, and it's not going anywhere. So I kind of picked a few things here, skills, grit, purpose, and AI and digital media. AI and digital media actually are part of the skills we all need to have. In going into digital, the skills, there's a lot of skills out there. Some of them are getting put aside just by the fact that the market is changing so rapidly. Some of the other skills that are really standing out are way too many to put on this slide, and we'd have to talk for about 2-3 days on this. So what I did is I put I categorized them into eight categories basically, and I picked something that was, to me, one of the better topics for each category, and then we can just chat about those. And I'll go through these right now and let you guys know what I found out. Market.
Well, one thing I want to highlight. I'm going through this list, and when you mentioned skills, I thought it was going to be completely different. But this is deep. This is deeper than just simply being able to, input a listing. That's a skill, right?
Yeah.
Doing an open house, that's a skill. But this is money making skills, strategies, and relationships and things like that. I love this.
Yes, it is quite well put together. Market knowledge and analysis actually is economic trend interpretation. Todd talks about the numbers every Monday. We need to have that. We need to have the Cromford reports every week or every 2 weeks at the most, right? Go to these classes to find out about what's happening in our market. Financial mortgage expertise. Here we go. Justin was just in here. Affordability. That's a key word nowadays, right? Affordability, and everybody's being challenged by that. And also some calculations about net values and things like that. Technology and marketing, that's the data and analytics, AI and digital media. AI and digital media will be talking in the back end of this, but that is very important to me. I mean, I come from the technology world, from Hewlett-Packard, and to me, I think the better you use technology, whether it's a CRM or a back office tool, anything like that, I think it's going to your benefit to be able to succeed. Communication is always the key, right? Communication is always out there in sales. Consultative selling, being the resource of the source, or the source to the resource, whatever that means, you know.
But that comes by knowing those top three.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because we have a thing now on we sometimes do it on our team. If an agent just makes just a remark about the market or a trend or whatever, like, okay, let's back it up with numbers. Let's dig deep, because don't just say something because you feel it.
Yes.
Let's look at the numbers.
I agree. Back it up with some data, right?
Yeah.
I like to call that data mining, right? You mine your data, your database, or any kind of database that's out there for the public. So again, good point, Mike. Client relations, empathy, and emotional intelligence. You don't know what your buyer or seller is going through, divorce, death, whatever, right? So you got to have that emotional intelligence and how to respond to those people and how to relate to those people. So, and to me, that's very, very a great skill to have when you're trying to improve the relationships. Professional network. To me, I mean, I'm all over the place on this one. In fact, I tell some people I only do about 40 to 50% real estate, and the rest I'm out there in the world somewhere else, right? So you have to have that, mainly to work with your partners, work with any kind of referral resource that's out there. Operational intelligence, time management. I mean, that's the biggest thing we all have. If you're going to be out there doing all kinds of things, you got to be able to manage your time. So, and adaptability and strategy, that's the one that's right now we're all going through. There's, like I said, the market's changing really rapidly, and you have to be able to pivot and focus on your mission and vision that you have and not get thrown off the track. So, again, those skills will help you.
I don't see one thing on this list that I can't put through AI and have AI build me that strategy. Okay, teach me about building empathetic and emotional, intellectual client relationships, and
Agreed.
keep feeding it prompts, and keep feeding it prompts, and you can build your strategy for each one of these.
I agree. I mean, I'm starting to put in my listing presentations a lot of what are the type of buyers that are most likely to buy your home, you know, using AI, right? And AI can give you that information. So again, that data mining and smart due diligence type of work that you do in the back end will help you.
Yeah. Where do I find them? How do I find them?
Yes. How do I find them? Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Grit. I mean, I'm sure you guys have talked about this many times, and I see it posted on the hallways all over the place here at the office. But I mean, we have to talk that passion and perseverance build your grit. You know, and that's having the stamina and sticking to with your mission and mission that you have to be able to do day by day stuff and week by week, and stick with it. Don't lose sight of what your passion and mission is. So again, that's one of the things for me that I don't know if you guys saw the movie True Grit. I mean, that's a little girl, 14-year-old little girl goes after the killer of her father, and then she's just persistent to get there, and she did it. Right? So, again, some of the benefits of having grit in real estate, dealing with rejection. I mean, we face that every day. Long sales cycles, we're facing that right now. I just had two. You talked about 9% disconnect market, and long sales cycles. I just dropped two listings not too long ago. So again, persistence, staying in contract with those clients that are dropping away from the market and then coming back in 3-4 months or whatever, you have to be there for them. The market volatility and resilience, you know, again, changing market all over the place, building the expertise, you know, while you're doing all of this, being perseverance, being very passionate about what you're doing, the more you do it, the more expert you become. more of an expert you become. So again, one of the things that I like to do is keep doing things repetitious over and over again, whether I like it or not, and it gives you a lot of experience. So you become an expert basically. Relationship building and goal achievement. Again, once you stay with clients that, for instance, have dropped off the market, that perseverance, that grit that you have will help you build that relationship with that client.
We could spend a whole segment just on this one, because
Very true.
desire doesn't get you anywhere in real estate.
No.
It's
Doesn't get you anywhere in life.
and so when we talk about grit and we talk about going to work every day and doing the things that we need to do, for a lot of us, we wake up every day and we don't know what to do. We don't have. That's why we preach business plans. That's why, the West USA coaching program. At the very least, sit down with a coach, take a look at the business plan. If I know that I want to close X amount of deals in 2026 and make X amount of money, I can reverse engineer it and figure out how many contacts I need to make, and then where am I going to get those contacts? It's going to be open houses and so forth. And so we have this young kid on our team, love him. He's awesome, and so he committed to doing 100 open houses in 100 days, and he's somewhere on about day 90.
Wow.
Nice.
His growth. First of all, his real estate vernacular just grew exponentially. But he's now going to walk away from this experience understanding, if I want to be successful in real estate, because doing 100 open houses in 100 days, that's called grit, my man. And all of us, we're like going, I don't want to do that,
No, that's great. That's what you have to have. I mean, think of all the skill that he's going to gain from that, right?
Oh, it's already gained it.
Everything he already has. Yeah,
And a shout out to the Valley Home Group, because I got that idea from them. Just want to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. So again, grit separates the successful long-term professionals from those who exit the industry during the challenging periods, right? We see that a lot, about 80%, right? 87% to be exact. It's the fuel that powers persistence through the inevitable ups and downs of our business. Our business is up and down no matter what the market is. It could be something to do with life that you have, or it's up and down. So you never know what's going to happen. So grit will get you through a lot of these challenges.
Yeah, if it came to grit or experience, grit's going to win every time.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Real estate with purpose. Todd, your favorite.
Yep, I love it.
Live life on purpose, right?
Totally. Yep. Yeah. You get 86,400 seconds in a day is my point to that, and that God gave us. And the question is, how you use it matters.
Yes, absolutely. So, you have a personal mission, impact focus. Whether you want to be the expert in the neighborhood, whether you want to be the achiever of the dream home for new buyers, or
How many agents out there do you think have got a personal mission statement? Like,
not too many.
Not too many.
Not too many. I would say maybe 20, 30, maybe. I mean, to me, that's my
I think
guess.
you're being very gracious on that.
Yeah, well, that too. So,
Well, and remember, you can have a business plan, but the action plan is the one that makes it happen.
the action. Yeah, I agree. We all can do a business plan in October, November, right?
still fail.
It still fail if you don't execute.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Values-based practice. You got to have your core values: integrity, value, service, expertise, whatever it is that support that mission statement. Purpose-driven activities. All the activities have to have your mission and vision in mind all the time. Having your clients basically main clients have basically top of mind while you do these activities. Client-centered approach, build long-term relationships, right? If your approach is based on your clients and your values that you provide, you tend to build the relationships and enhance them where they are now. Community investment. I like this one. Support your local businesses, charities, and civic organizations, right? We should all expand on being connected with our community, Chamber of Commerce, BNIs, business alliances that might be out there, and other groups, other chapters. So to me, that's grown me quite a large amount of experience And it's basically been very welcoming for me to have all these community ties. Professional development with intent, improving your skills. We're talking about that right now. Mentoring knowledge and share knowledge. It's being able to share your knowledge, whatever it is, whether it's a small amount or a large amount. I think that's very key in your development as an individual and also as a business if you do have a team or whatever. But mentoring other people and let them know that what it is that you know, and it'll help you. Some of the benefits on having this on purpose, live life on purpose type of a culture. Enhanced relationships, personal fulfillment, and business sustainability, and it'll help you within the ups and downs in the market. So, again, this is a great vision to have when you do your work on purpose.
And in honesty, this is where referrals come from.
Absolutely.
Because you can ask for referrals, and that's usually what happens when you maybe didn't do a good job. But when you did do a good job and you listened and you focused and you delivered, those are the consumers that by mistake will refer business to you.
Absolutely.
I don't press that button.
Okay.
I feel like the one that keeps popping out to me is the purpose-driven activities. And I think for me, that goes back to really with time management. Every Monday morning we go through all the announcements, and if you attended every single class, you would put in a full 40-hour work week. But how much of that is helping you make money? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with classes, because it goes back to developing our skills and knowledge and so forth. And it's just that time management. You have to identify what are your purpose-driven activities. What activities are my leads going to come from, whether they're open houses or whatever the case is. And then once I know them, I'm putting them into my calendar so that when at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I'm like, okay, I went to work this week and I spent a good deal of time, and I call them money-making activities, but I love purpose-driven activities. And not every day, I'm human. Not every day, I feel like I walk away and I've said, boy, I really put in 100%. But every day at the end of the day, I go, okay, how did I do today?
Absolutely.
Who said you had to have a 40-hour work week anyway? Obviously,
it's usually 80.
Yeah, somewhere along the line. Well, but to the point, there's also a book out there called The 4-Hour Work Week. So, the thing is that what you do with your time determines the character and the person that you are. And so as a result, you can either be happy or you can be miserable. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it.
Sure.
And so, when you're building these, to Mike's point, so let's make this real estate. I'm going to wake up every day. What am I going to do tomorrow morning when I wake up? Now, I can plan that today if I woke up today and didn't do anything, but I can plan for tomorrow, and so you decide, and then you have to decide, what do I like doing? Because not all success comes from pain. Not all growth comes from pain. Sometimes growth comes from understanding who you are better than you know today, and you're now willing to more align yourself with the activities, those lead generation activities that will put you in front of people more frequently, and you'll end up successful. Because if somebody tells you the secret to success is banging on doors, I can tell you it works, but you might not like it. And if you don't like it, you won't continue doing it. So my thing is, go to westusadisc.com and take a disc. It'll come to you personally. Nobody else gets it. It tags on the back end of Tony Robbins' website. But the fact is do that. And if you'd like explanation, I'm offering my free help to you. You call me on the phone and you tell me that you did it, and I'll help walk you through it so you'll get the most out of it. But, again, Mike, open houses, it's like retail. The consumers come to you. Knocking on doors, you got to go do something. If you have to wake up every morning and go find somebody, well, great if you're a D and an I, but if you're an S and a C, you're not going to find success or happiness in that because you're not going to do it. So to your point, you have to figure out what you want to do. You have to figure out what works for you. And sometimes hindsight's really good about looking back.
Just real quick, because we got to go on. This is a lot of good stuff, but this is a fantastic slide we could probably talk about for a long time.
Absolutely.
A lot of agents that are listening in on this is a challenging, kind of a scary thing. Like, how do I figure out what my values should be. I mean, it's my personal values that for my private, but then for my business, I'm not sure. And so one of the conversations that I've had, because this is a huge topic with us, this is why West USA is 40 years. Everything we do is with a purpose to focus on our realtors. But as you're building your own business, your own brand, there is a book called Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. He does a very good job of breaking this down into a bite-sized way for anyone to figure out how to build this on their own. And the one thing Mike touched on it, I'm going to give him credit here, which I try not to do, guys. He made the comment, he's human, so he doesn't do this every day. And I think that is a really important thing. A lot of us think that if we're not perfect every day, I'm just going to give up. I didn't do it today, so I'm not doing it for the rest of the week. It's not perfection, it's consistency.
Yeah.
If you miss a day, that's fine. Shake it off. Wake up the next day and do it again. It's not a bad deal if you miss a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but you get back to it and you go back to what Carlos said, grit, determination, all the things you've been hitting on. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. One more thing on this. Not everybody. I think what you're trying to say. Not everybody's going to be 100% on target with all of this. So again, find your purpose and then move with it, and you will be successful. All right, now gonna go. Okay, artificial AI. I mean, we all know it's here. Enhanced market analysis and predictions, predictive analytics. Again, we can do just about anything with AI. I know that Mike's team is doing a lot of work with AI and trying to get information, doing a lot of that data mining, lead generation and client matching, demographics, AI, and digital marketing. It goes back a little bit what I said about here, Mr. Seller. This is the type of buyer you could expect, and this is some of the buyers that might be interested in your home. Digital marketing, once again, that to me, digital marketing is just amazing right now with a lot of videos and connected parts of all of these social media sites. Operational efficiency and automation, contract analysis. Again, you can just tell AI to just analyze a contract in a heartbeat and it'll do it for you. And then scheduling. Enhanced customer experience, virtual tours with AI-powered features. Those are some of the things that we can, depend on AI to help us do. You talk about what are some of the things that I should be doing. A lot of times, they are making you money and things like that. A lot of times you do things when I was asked that a long time ago in my first year of real estate, I was asked, what do you think are the things that make you money? And I said, well, just about everything I do, because I didn't have the experience, right? Because I'm headed towards that goal. So, it's one of those things. Strategic business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Let me just finish this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strategic business intelligence, performance, analytics, marketing opportunities. Again, having that business intelligence of where you think the markets are by doing marketing opportunities is key also in with using artificial intelligence. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. So I have worked with real estate agents for a long time. And so I have some very strong opinions about AI because I've just seen over the years. I remember when we got our first website, okay? My first CRM was a 3-ring binder full of one-page papers with lines on it and so forth. And so I've personally seen technology advance, in the real estate world. And you see the agents that embrace it, and then you see the agents that don't. With AI, to your point, Carlos, it's not going. I don't care whether you like it or not. Yeah. I don't care whether you're afraid of it. I don't care whether you think it's going to take over the world or not. It is not going anywhere. And so for agents, the key to this is consistency and not getting overwhelmed. I think one of the reasons that agents don't use CRM systems is they sign up for their CRM system or they take a class on it, and it's so overwhelming. Right? Start picking the basics, the easy stuff. If you take an AI class, take one tip that identifies with you that's going to help you and start using it. Don't get overwhelmed when you get to a class.
One thing at a time, one step at a time.
One step at a time. Yeah. Pop into ChatGPT and give it the prompt that you're an Arizona real estate agent.
Anything.
Ask Chat how it can help you in your real estate business, but keep at it and then just do it slow and keep adding those AI skills rather than getting overwhelmed when you show up to a class and the instructor knows everything about AI, and then you walk away and you try something, and then you just go back to the old habits.
Going back real quick to AI, a lot of clients that I've dealt with, a lot of buyers, they're coming to me with a home already. They found the home. It's very easy to find a home without all the databases and AI and everything, but it's very hard to find a good realtor to support them. So focus on that.
Well, I think that's the key in the end. So, and I know we have number 5, so let's get into it.
Let's get it.
But I do want to just say to people, that's the skill. When you say you need to improve your skill, that's part
of the skill
It's not
set.
just that; it's part of that skill set that you have to do.
Absolutely. Benefits of digital media, again, enhanced property marketing and visibility, reach. I mean, your reach is going to be very wide. Storytelling, telling a story, having a targeted advertising, all of that should be done whether you do it yourself or you have a company support you in doing this. Improved client engagement and communications, real-time interaction, educational contact, and the 23/7 availability. You get 1 hour a day not to do anything. That's how it's supposed to be 24/7. Oh, shoot. Anyway.
Well, you're not perfect, Carlos.
Shit.
I'm glad to know that.
Data-driven lead generation, market intelligence. Again, all of that we've talked about and touched up on it. I'm kind of rushing here because I only have a couple minutes. Precise targeting, performance tracking, and market insights. Those are all great content to have at your fingertips. So, yeah.
You know what my favorite AI prompt is right now? Is make this sound more professional. Like I put together stuff, and like I'm working with a client, and we had to put together a report because he was selling a home and so forth. And I'm like, just give me the bullet points. And I threw it in there, and I go, make this sound professional. And I send it to him. He goes, you used AI, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I know you're not that smart.
hey, here's. I just want to kind of, from Todd's perspective today, Carlos, these 5 tips are probably, these should be in a training program. These should be what any agent or any person in any line of work, or better yet, even if you want to improve the relationship with your spouse, go through these things, because this is some of the most important topics. And AI. I mean, be real specific with AI. Talk about the Arizona market. Talk about the town that you do most of your business in. Talk about the buyers and what they're looking for. Ask, and you'll be amazed at what AI can do for you.
Thank you, Todd. And to your point, yes, I did the same thing, Mike. I had to write a letter to a tenant that needed to be exited out of the house, and I mean, it made me look like a pro. Legal counsel type, so it's really good. It's really good stuff.
All right, and wrapping up. So I think, you obviously have an incredible team based out of the Chandler office, the Cicero Group. I think everybody here understands the depth of your trainings and your mentorship and your just understanding on how to help agents truly grow their business. And I can't help but think that there might be a couple agents out there looking to join a team and looking for that. So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Our team is almost corporate-like, more has a corporate, very good culture. It has great benefits and services to the client, to the actual agents. We treat them as shareholder agents. We don't use you as an associate or just as a realtor in the team. You are a shareholder agent. Has a lot of corporate feel to it. And again, I believe in that quite a bit, because I think every time you do a commission split, we call it an investment fee that comes into the team. And we're very transparent of everything, where that money goes to and what we do with it. So I think it's a very different type of a team. And it seems to have worked. Although a long time ago, my first broker told me it wasn't going to work because I was going to leave too much money on the table. And it's worked. We're, the highs and lows, we're able to surpass them and overcome them. So I think it's a great environment. And we got 5 brokers on the team. We got 2 transaction coordinators, all for free. So again,
that's where Kyle Fouts went. All right. All right, Carlos.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And there's Carlos's email up on the screen if you want to reach out to him and learn more about what he presented today and or his team. We leave you with the quote of the day. Confidence sells homes, but consistency builds careers. I think we mentioned that today. Go out and sell a home.